Shortly, but we've got a quorum, so why don't we get underway? So good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the November 18th, 2025 meeting of the Milton Conservation Commission. Members are appointed by the Select Board to implement the rules and regulations of the State Wetlands Protection Act and the Milton Town bylaw governing the wetlands. Two issues of formality and regularity. The first is that we encourage everyone to speak, to ask questions, to make comments. But because it's a public meeting and it's being recorded, we do ask that you identify yourself. The second is we introduce ourselves. My name is John Kiernan. Let me just read across the top. Steve,
Steve Ibis, conservation agent.
Hans,
Hans Van Lingen, commission member.
Philip,
Philip Driscoll, Conservation Clerk.
Tom,
Tom Palmer, a member.
Charlie,
Charlie Bosworth, commission member.
Ingrid,
Ingrid Beatty, Commissioner.
and I now see Arthur Doyle has joined us. So Arthur, are you there?
Arthur Doyle, commission member.
Hi, good evening. I don't see Wendy, but I'm sure she'll be able to join us as soon as she can. So we're underway, and first on the agenda is Holland Street Extension. This is a beaver dam removal. This is an emergency certificate that started a week ago Thursday when we were alerted by Richard Wells that there was some complaints of flooding in the area of Mingo Street and Park Street. And I know that DPW responded and the Conservation Commission responded and we tried to coordinate with everybody with the stakeholders, including DCR. And they have gone out and they actually, I think, filed a contract with somebody that may be here tonight. I hope they are. And then we issued an emergency certification to get underway so that it could be done immediately to prevent any flooding issues in the area of Park and Mingo. And as a consequence, the regulations allow for the emergency certification, which was issued last Friday. And then they require that at the next public meeting that the applicant come in and sort of justify in retrospect the application. And I hope we can get underway. Is there somebody here for DCR and or yes, Christopher DeTurk. Yes, that's the person that I know. You were down there and you saw Steve on site, I think.
Yeah, I recognize a few of your faces. Yeah, we've been managing this site for a little while now, and we did apply for and received an emergency certificate on Friday, as you said, to breach 3 beaver dams that are in sequence that are downstream of the Harlan Street culvert and upstream of Canton Ave. The furthest one downstream had about 2'9" hydraulic height on it. The one that Steve and I were standing next to was about 6 inches of hydraulic height, and then there's one more beaver dam between that and the culvert that was it was actually at water height due to the downstream beaver dams, but that will obviously be exposed as water levels are lowered. So our plan is to slowly breach the dam to get water levels back down to alleviate the flooding.
And is that if the dam that you were standing next to is 6 inches, does that mean that the other 2+ feet is at a different dam or a series of dams? How does that work?
There was a series of 3 dams there between Harlan Street and Canton. The furthest one downstream had a hydraulic height of 2'9" from where the water level was to the lower stream bed.
Wow.
And so it's 2'9", and then 6 inches, and the furthest one upstream was at water height. So that had no hydraulic height when we first reported out to the site about a week and a half ago.
All right. And for the public's benefit and other commission members, we did receive 3 video tapes of the flooding. The videotapes were a little bit difficult to kind of set the scene. It was difficult you could see the flooding right in front of you, but you didn't know where it was in terms of, the central geography. But Steve, you were down there, and what did you see?
Yeah, I saw flooding. I saw the middle dam, I guess you would call it, Christopher, right? I saw
Correct.
the middle dam and went over to Mingo and Park, and water was back, but it didn't affect any of the homes or residences or anything else in that area.
I may be able to chime in a little bit too. Historically, when we've had issues of the culvert getting clogged with beaver debris, It's the last house on the right on Harlan Street that gets affected first from just the last, 18 months of managing the site.
Yep.
All right. Now, it just so that we're clear when you
I
said,
have a question.
yeah, go ahead,
Has
John.
anything been done and what has been done?
We're breaching the dam. So I reported to the site on Friday. Took a couple of cuts into the lower dam and in sequentially all three beaver dams to let it down, start letting it down slowly. And we've continued that with my wildlife contractor this week. So they've been on site. Let's see, what are we Tuesday now? Both days this week.
And Tom, for your benefit, and I don't know if you received this, but we did receive a letter from the Chris, help me out. What's the name of the integrated services? Is it
Integrated Wildlife is the state's contractor, and there's also another contractor involved there, Beaver Solutions, too, that we use all over the state to manage beaver issues.
all right? And when we received the request for an emergency certification, we also received some terms and conditions. And Tom, for your benefit, I think it would be important to all of us actually, but especially to you, that only hand tools were to be used in terms of breaching the dam, and there was no heavy equipment brought in at all. I couldn't see it, Tom. Say it again. Show me again.
He lost his audio, John.
Oh, is that what it said? No audio?
Yes.
So
Steve,
Well, in any event, I think we'd all be concerned with that issue, that only hand tools would be used to breach the dam. And any kind of removal of beavers has to go to the Board of Health. Chris, do you know if that application is made for a permit to the Board of Health?
We applied to the Board of Health to lower the water specifically, and we were told back that they did not want to get involved. So we took the emergency cert we got from Conservation Commission and proceeded there. As far as removal of beavers goes, that's required. Board of Health is required to approve that when it's out of season, like an emergency certificate. We're currently in an active beaver season, beaver trapping season.
Oh, so you don't need an emergency certification from the Board of Health to trap the beavers?
Not in season, yeah, which started November 1st.
And how long does that season run for? Is that a 3-week season or what? Do you know?
I don't have the top of my head. It's longer than that. We usually, yeah, I can look it up 1 second. Usually, when things freeze over, that usually is what stops us.
All right.
April
And-
15th. It's November 1st through April 15th.
Oh, that's a pretty long season.
Yeah, but like I said, usually once it freezes over, it becomes almost impossible to trap. So it's usually this time of year kind of a thing.
Understood. Now, there's one other contextual, it's not an issue, but just a fact that we should all be familiar with, is that about 2 years ago, DCR had a permit application, a notice of intent that we approved, and they actually reconstructed the dam at the culvert that goes underneath Canton Avenue and discharges into Pope's Pond. So when you were referring to a culvert, that's not the culvert that you're referring to. That's upstream, probably about halfway between the Canton Avenue culvert and the Unquity Road, Holland Street, the major DCR dam. It's about midpoint in there. That's the culvert that you're referring to, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
John,
Commission, yes, sir.
I believe you have a raised hand.
Yes. And
Miss
that looks like
Khanna.
Mayor Khanna.
Yes.
Yes, hello. I'm Meher. I work for the Neponset River Watershed Association. I'm the Environmental Science Fellow. And my bosses couldn't make it to the call today. But I just wanted to come on and talk a bit about, obviously, beavers, we do see them as, a very important part of the ecosystem and having the potential to improve a lot of aquatic habitat and it would be nice in the future to think about more proactive ways to prevent beavers from clogging the culverts and leading to this flooding. And I know the DCR person, Chris, I believe, mentioned the working with Beaver Solutions, and I know they have a bunch of different strategies, not just related to trapping. So I was wondering if that was also an issue, if that was something that you guys discussed, using beaver deceivers or pond levelers, and trying to think of non-lethal ways. And also,
Mayor, we
Yeah,
have. This is our third meeting on this. About 2 years ago, the same culvert created a problem, and DCR made application to the Board of Health to trap the beavers out of season. That was denied. So there were a series of attempts by DCR, and DPW got involved with that to try to continuously clear that. Then there was a second issue about 10 months ago, and we had a series of floods last spring primarily, but last spring and summer, and we had 8 occasions when Highland Street was flooded. And so the DPW got involved and DCR, and we had a joint meeting, DCR and DPW, as well as the Conservation Commission were present. And I had been at and Arthur Doyle was there as well, but I went to the workshop on beaver control, and Beaver Solutions was there. There were 2 groups there. One was Beaver Solutions. I forget the other company. But beaver deceivers were discussed at our request of the Conservation Commission. DPW went to DCR and tried to use a beaver deceiver. So all of those techniques that you're referencing were considered by the Milton Conservation Commission, by the Department of Public Works, and by DCR. And they employed a couple of different experts, and they came in and said the dam at the bigger dam, it's about 80-foot dam, which is upstream of the major dam, which is at the intersection of Holland and Unquity. That's a big one.
Yep.
And it would not work. So that was our first solution. And Tom Palmer was probably the most outspoken defender of beavers and the need to, see if we could find a non-lethal way. We did search for that, and it was a joint effort, DPW, DCR, and the Conservation Commission. So yes, we have considered all those. And unfortunately, the beaver trapping, it's a state regulation that we can't get around. We asked them to do a relocation, but the state law is that you cannot relocate a beaver. So we've all been confronted with these issues. And I'm sad to say we haven't come up with an alternative mechanism, but it's certainly been on our radar screen and the subject of 3 public meetings. And actually, I also attended the Board of Health meeting as well, where the permit to trap the beavers was eventually issued. They denied it the first time, and then they allowed it I believe it was in June. And I know Roy Chambers has been vocal at this, and we've had a number of public meetings on the very issues that you bring up. So they're very good points, but I didn't want you to think that we had not thought of it.
Yeah, thank you for letting me know about that. I definitely knew some of the history, but not all of it, so that's good to know. And I know you mentioned that, you were reaching out to a lot of different stakeholders and people that are involved. And I know, at least speaking from my organization's behalf, I think we hope to be more involved in the future, and to also give some input and stay in the loop if possible. And also, I know that trying to monitor this flooding has been kind of we, from our perspective at least, you could correct me if I'm wrong, people complain about the flooding, and then DCR has to react to those complaints about there is flooding on this road. But we were hoping maybe we can coordinate volunteers to conduct regular monitoring of that road, see what kind of the flooding is in that area, and see how the if different spots on the river look like they're like the I don't know, kind of just regularly checking that area, and in that way, like making sure that like bigger issues don't. Does that make do you kind of know what I'm saying? Like so that
I do know what you're saying, but again,
Yeah.
you're a little behind the curve on this because
yeah, this is more for
Deep-
future. Yeah.
DPW has videotapes of, I think there are 7, there could have been 8 flooding events, and they provided as evidence the flooding of Holland Street. It was completely over the top of the road. They
Right.
gave some detail on the composition of the underpinning of the road, and it's got a lot of organic compact there. There's not a lot of compaction underneath it, and the road has begun to regularly wash out portions of it, not the whole thing. And DPW has been monitoring it for several years. And this was a point of discussion. Do we have a record of the flooding events? The answer is yes. Did we see evidence? Yes, we did. We saw the videos, and that was presented to the Board of Health as well. And the other night, we had 3 videos that were submitted to us on that Thursday night prior to the emergency order. So yes, we've been monitoring it and going way back to 2 years ago. And I think it may have been Krista Turk that came in for the first
That was me.
event. Yeah. And that was the question for the Board of Health. Why don't you guys just, if the beavers are clogging up either building a dam or clogging the culvert, then why don't you just go in there and take it out? And Chris's answer, and I won't speak for you, but he said, we'll take it out and they'll build it back the next day. And that we've heard that repeatedly. And DPW has, resource limitations. DCR has resource limitations that they felt, and they testified that they couldn't continually remove the dams on a ongoing basis. So again, an excellent point. But this monitoring has been going on for at least 2 years.
John Tabor Keeley has his hand up at this time.
Yes, Tabor, are you there?
Yes, I've been following up on Maher's proposal here or thoughts. I'm just wondering, because it seems like the last time this became a big issue, it was also an emergency. And I'm just wondering, is there a way to, I know, you did a great job of explaining being proactive here, but clearly it's not working. Is there another plan? I mean, Milton is probably way behind the curve on beaver problems with the rest of New England. I'm just curious as to how other people can deal with this on a Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and not get into an emergency situation. It's not only expensive, but, costs you guys a lot of time too.
Well, this was the 3rd occasion that we've had a beaver issue. The first 2 were most definitely not emergencies. The first one actually came to my attention because it went before the Board of Health, not before us. And that's 2 years ago. And the one from last spring and last summer lasted about 6 months. It definitely was not an emergency. And there was a notice of intent filed by DCR to do that. We had public hearings on that. So this was the only one that was an emergency.
Okay, right.
But
maybe I was mistaken. I thought it was, but you're probably right. Yeah.
Well, we spent a lot of time on and several meetings on the one at Unquity Road and Holland Street. That's the DCR. That's the 80-foot dam. That was before us for several hearings and was not emergency. But you brought up another point, and that is, is there another proactive basis? And I actually think that, and this came up at a public hearing when Roy Chambers made a presentation and said, now I'm going back to the big dam. Now, this is Unquity Road and Holland Street where they come together. And he pointed out and provided some documentary evidence that culvert seems to clog all by itself. Anyway, that there's a lot of detritus there that's natural, but there's also some, car bumpers and things like that. And that is also contributing to it. So we asked DCR to see if they could get the fund. That's their land as opposed to DPW. So I went to Marina Fernandez and asked her about, can you guys clean it? And she said, well, it's DCR land. We've got our own stuff to clean. And she wasn't trying to, move the goalpost. She was just saying it really is a DCR issue, which I believe it is. So they gave sort of kind of an altruistic response, and oh, that'd be lovely, and we'll put it on our agenda. And they've got limitations in terms of personnel and financial resources, but it is on their agenda right now. Tom Palmer brought up another issue when we learned that the beaver deceiver would not work in that large, the 80-foot dam. He said, well, why don't we consider, the cost, putting the cost aside, why don't we consider putting a larger culvert underneath Holland Street? Because the water upstream of Holland Street is immense. Between that Holland Street Dam and the golf course, there are just acres of water. I can't tell you how deep it is, but it's pretty deep. So I think Tom's idea was good, and we at our meeting, but Tom suggested it, plug that into Marina Fernandez as well. And for those in the public, Marina is both the DPW director and the town engineer. She is wearing both hats. So that's on their radar screen. But to be blunt, that's a cost issue. The town would have to incur, basically revamping that road. That's a major DPW project. I'm not saying it's not valid. I'm just saying that there are competing valid projects for the tax dollars. But both of those proposals are out. One, DCR, cleaning out the culvert that exists, and B, and by the way, that cleaning out includes, raking some of the invasive species and getting some of the detritus out of there, as well as the dump stuff, like I call the car bumper dump stuff. So that's on the radar screen, and so is the culvert under Highland Street. But I don't hold that out as great hope in the near term. I'll be frank with you. I think that's not high on an expenditure list for the town DPW. But these are great points. Any other thoughts or questions? I think in order to comply with the regulations, the emergency certification, we should have some kind of a formal post facto nunc pro tunc kind of document that says, will you approve this? It could be I guess it could be as fast as an RDA, or it could be a notice of intent. It doesn't really matter in terms of notification issues, but we have to approve it after the fact. It could be as simple as a vote to resolve to approve the emergency certification, but there does have to be a vote following the original emergency certification. I don't know how others feel about that. Roy, I see your hand up.
Yeah. Hi, Roy Chambers here. I was down there today at the Uncrity Dam. I spent probably a good hour and a half between Uncrity Dam and what I call the Holland Street Bridge, which is between Canton Ave and Uncrity Road. That bridge area that's right down there where the culverts go under, where the actual brook changes direction, goes underneath the bridge and heads down toward Canton. Now, I know that there's a couple dams right there, the smaller ones. And that was a couple of years ago when DCR cleaned that whole area out. But of course, the beavers came back. They've built a dam. I've seen two of them right in that area. By the Uncrity Dam, that's the one that's I think is the real serious problem. There is no, Chris, are you still there, Chris? Yeah.
Yes.
The dams that you have seen at the Uncrity Dam, how many have you seen at that location?
That if you're talking at the flood control site, that's
Yes.
that's a town of Milton owned dam. So I don't regularly patrol that spot. I have been there
Well,
over the summer when there was some issues because we got asked to provide our opinion, but the town of Milton owns and maintains that dam.
That's the one that's the main problem. That beaver dam that you, John, you talk about, that's 80 feet, an 80-foot dam is in that area. That's where the beavers were trapped, that Marina reported at the last meeting where they trapped 9 beavers in that area. Now, right at that control, that dam, there is a beaver dam that's right there. You can actually see it. There's in the further on the Pine Tree Brook area that comes into the dam. I think there's probably at least 2 other dams in that area. That is what causes the conservation land waterway that backs up to the golf course. That water right now is not moving 1 inch. You go across Holland Street in another area there where that water should be moving. That is not moving at all. And right now, it is almost level with the road.
Yeah.
You're going to get any kind of rain, guaranteed. Holland Street is going to flood right up again. The dam that I'm really concerned about is the one that's right by the actual Unquity Dam. There's and there may be as many as 2 others that are causing all that problem. Because the Pine Tree Brook, as it comes down into that dam, is making the swing into the dam, the Unquity Dam, and that water is flowing. But the water that comes from the Milton Conservation, which is across Holland Street, that is not moving at all.
Roy, let me ask you something, Roy, if I can interrupt you, because you were there.
Sure.
But we issued a permit to the DPW to take that dam down in phases.
Yeah.
Have they done that?
No, that hasn't moved at all. I've been checking on a regular. I haven't seen anybody down there, and it's actually in that area the water, like I said, is not moving at all from what we call the Milton Conservation waterway that backs up to the golf course. All that is standing water. That's not moving at all. Right where it's supposed to go underneath Holland Street and head over to the Unquity Dam, that whole area is not moving. That water is not moving. So that means that the dam the beaver dam that's right by the main control dam is preventing that. And that water is all backing up. And that one you can see now because with all the leaves and stuff have gone, you can clearly see that area. But I believe, and you need to get a drone or something to look further back into there. But I believe there's other dams back there that are causing a problem. But remember, they took 9 beavers out of there.
I know. I know.
A month ago. They took 9. So those dams are, I think, probably are just what was left over from the beavers have been taken out of there. But the one down by the Holland Bridge, yeah, they're working it down there.
Philip, do you know whether or not DPW has any plans to actually do what we permitted?
Yeah,
I'll
remember
check with them. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'll check with them.
All right,
Remember
thanks.
we talked about it.
Could you
Remember
report?
they said they were going to bring in boats and stuff, and they were going to shovel out the dam, and
Yes,
that
right.
hasn't been done. As far as I know, that hasn't been done because it's still the same way. That hasn't.
Right. Philip, can you see if you can get an update for us and then send a message by email to the Conservation Commission?
Sure, Marina's out of the country at the moment, but I will check with her as soon as she returns. She's coming back Monday.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Thanks. And Steve, I don't know. Yeah, Steve, you may have some knowledge of what's going on or not going on there. Do you?
No, I know no more than Philip. How's that? The last time I was there was last week.
Okay.
Haven't seen
All right.
No changes at the DPW location.
All right. So I think we can do 2 things tonight. One, at the very least, we should have a motion to approve the issuance of the emergency certification. But the second component is, I think we ought to, instead of just talking about it and walking away, we ought to follow up on Roy's suggestion and Mayor's suggestion And I know Tom Palmer, I don't know if you get your audio back, but I know.
I'm here, I think.
Okay, good. Some of your proactive suggestions, I think we ought to move on to see whether or not on a long range plan, is there some way that we can, and it may be, putting in a culvert, and maybe we can look for some state grants to get some financial assistance to put in a larger culvert under Harlan Street. I originally thought that, maybe there's a problem if there's flooding in the area of Yulin Rink, maybe there's a problem with the new dam. But I asked Steve to check that, and he said, nope, that looks pretty clear down there. That's what
Yes.
goes under Canton Avenue and discharges into Pope's Pond.
John, really quick before we move on, it seems like Wendy's in the waiting room.
Oh, good.
Who's in the waiting room?
Wendy Garpo.
Oh, good. Steve, can you?
So you just let her in.
I don't see her. Is she
Okay.
on the phone?
I'll text her right now. She'd asked. So I'll have her try to use the link through the agenda on the Milton Concom site.
Sure. Thanks, Hans.
All right, but maybe we could have like a subcommittee of Tom Palmer, and you could work with perhaps Mayor and anybody else, Tabor certainly, in terms of coordinating the future, and there may be some better ways to live cooperatively with the beavers without these hazardous conditions and the loss of roadways, et cetera. And just kind of work on a forward-thinking plan as to whether or not that can be done. It may be as simple, and I say simple without reference to cost, but it may be as simple as putting in some larger culverts in areas. Or maybe, as I understood the beaver deceivers, they will work on smaller dams, but not on larger dams. So maybe we could figure out a way to, shrink the size of the dams so that a beaver deceiver would work, which is essentially just a siphon that takes the water up and over the dam, which is pretty simple in concept. But I don't know, Tom, would you be willing to take the lead on that, maybe coordinate with Mayor and with Tabor, and most certainly Chris?
Well, I am interested in the issue. I'm sorry I cut out. I missed the discussion that you had about it. And I don't want to get off track. I just want to ask the question. What is it that we're asked to approve tonight? The emergency certificate?
Yes.
Okay. And has any work been done under that certificate? I think there was a description of the work that we heard, right? Which was to remove 3 dams.
Yes, there was a description of the work, and it most definitely included hand tools only, no equipment, sort of a hand removal of it.
Has any of that work happened yet?
Yes, we started on Friday.
How many dams did you pull down?
There's 3 in sequence between Canton Ave and the next culvert up, which is under Harlan Street, where it's kind of just a path. So those 3 dams.
You were able to get at them and pull them apart, huh?
Yeah, waiter's up to my chest.
I really respect that work, and I wonder, are the beavers going to build them right back?
Yep.
Yes.
They absolutely will.
Is it honest guy?
Well, it just seems like they've got the upper hand at this point, because we've been trying to do stuff and have not been very effective, it seems. At least we're effective with these 3 dams for the time being. But Roy says the water is still really high at Harlan Street. John, your idea about a bigger culvert, you remember that we permitted a bigger culvert under Harlan, but Marina told us the money wasn't available. Well, if we knew that money would address this problem, yeah, we could lobby for that. I'd say that for myself, though, I really don't see the answer to this at this point.
Well, there may be some state grants out there, Tom.
Yeah. I'm thinking that between, say, the flood control dam and Canton Avenue, does anybody know what the fall of water is over that interval?
I'm sorry, what's the measure that you're asking? The fall?
How much the stream goes down in height or elevation, average elevation?
Yeah, I have your
between-
answer, Tom. Yeah, so the series of 3 dams there, the first one was, I don't know, 500 yards up from Canton Ave. That had a 2'9" hydraulic height from top of Beaver Dam water to stream bed or
Yes.
tailwater. Next one up was 6 inches. Next one up was at water height, which means obviously the next dam down got built up higher.
Why would they build a dam that was at water height?
No, they build a dam and then they build another one downstream that's higher, and that brings the water up. So as you lower the first 2 dams, you then have to lower the one that's at water height because that will keep impounding water.
I sort of get it. I'm trying to think of what their opportunities are between those 2 places, namely the flood storage dam and Canton Ave. You're describing maybe 3 feet of water, a 3-foot drop over that, maybe a half mile. So that is what they have to work with if they want to raise the water to its highest. And just thinking that they could either build a 3-foot dam right in Canton Ave or multiple dams, as they have in between, and split up that fall over several dams. So they have done that. I don't really understand what they're doing, and maybe that's why I have a hard time wondering what we can do about it.
Tom, this is Steve. You may
Yeah.
wish to take a walk down that Harlan Street gravel area. They have built another beaver lodge right along that gravel area, just about 60 paces down gradient of the little bridge that takes water from the west side to the east side of that Harlan Street gravel section. So they're protecting.
I know what you mean, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, they're protecting their underwater access to the lodge, is what they're doing.
Yeah, I
very
see.
simply.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
They
take
wanna
a
flood
walk
the
out there
lodge.
and take a look.
Yeah. It seems like they own the place now, even though we got rid of 9 of them. They're still in charge.
Right.
One
So
thing
how
that-
about that? I mean, just so we can move forward, affirmatively, Tom, if you could, form a subcommittee and include, and I mentioned before, Mayor and Chris, and I think I failed to mention Roy, but he'd be a key component in Tabor, and put your heads together, and with your collective wisdom, maybe you could come up with some kind of a plan.
All right.
Maybe to make smaller dams instead of removing the whole dam, making a smaller one, or somehow limiting the beavers to a smaller one where a beaver deceiver might work, or finding a state grant for a new culvert, a larger culvert.
Well, I'm just at the point of writing names down. Now you said Chris. Excuse me. Who do you mean by Chris?
Chris DeTurk is right. He's on the screen.
I'm
He's
sorry. Yeah, I missed the
DCR.
introductions. So, Chris, you're a DCR guy?
Yeah, I am a dam maintenance engineer with the Department of
Well,
Conservation.
thank you. So I'm just writing the names down. Chris, Tabor, Steve, and me, right?
And
Is
Roy.
anyone else?
And Roy Chambers.
Right. Okay, Roy. Well, let me just tell all you guys, my number is 617-698-7759. So maybe if you just leave a message with your contacts, and I'll try to do something.
All right. That's good. Any other comments from commissioners before we move to a vote to approve the emergency certification, and or any members of the public or citizens that would like to ask a question? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve the issuance of the emergency certification to allow the removal of the dam near to the Hewlin Rink, Pine Tree Brook region, and that emergency certification was issued last Friday. That's my motion. Is there a second for it?
Second.
All right, thank you. Any discussion among commission members? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. This is an individual vote. Hans, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
Ingrid,
Yes.
Tom Palmer,
Yes.
Arthur Doyle,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Charlie?
Yes.
I think I got everybody, and I, John Kiernan, vote yes as well. All right, thanks, Chris, and whatever you can do in terms of, joining with the others on the Tom Palmer committee, your collective wisdom might provide some guidance for us. And Mayor, I really appreciate your comments and thoughts, and hopefully we can use your wisdom as well to come up with a plan of action.
Thank you all.
Excuse me.
Yeah, thank you. It was good
Yeah.
talking to you. Thanks for listening.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were here, Mayor. I want to add your name, okay?
Oh, I thought you said it.
You said it, John. I just didn't see her, so
Oh, okay.
I'm adding you, Mayor. But Chris, you were the guy who has the experience.
All right, thanks all. That's number one on the agenda. Number two, request for determination at 1022 Blue Hill Avenue. Brad, is that you?
It is. Thank you, members of the commission. Brad Holmes here from ECR on behalf of Sam Land for his property at 1022 Blue Hills Avenue. We submitted an RDA application with the commission to confirm that a second floor addition doesn't require the filing of a notice of intent. Would it help if I share my screen, or just I can brief the project, whatever works best for you?
Yeah, if you could
Go
share
right
the
ahead.
screen and then brief it, it would help us if we could see it as well.
Sure. Sharing is not turned on. Send request.
Okay,
Steve,
hang
did you take
on.
care of that?
I did,
Perfect, thanks.
Thank you, Steve.
certainly.
Great. Well, here is the site here at 1022 Blue Hill Avenue. There's a paved driveway, leads into a single-family residence with a yard area. There are multiple areas of conservation jurisdiction on and near the site. There's a bordering vegetated wetland here. There's the inland bank to Ballister Brook, which does run through the back of the property and just to the side of the property. There's a small little section of BVW offsite as well. So we have fully within the riverfront area to Ballister Brook and within the buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands. What we're looking to do is to add a second story addition on top of the existing first floor of the home. That's just within the buffer zone to the inland bank and within the riverfront and within the buffer zone to the BVW. I'll show you a photo of the site, which I think helps to depict what we're looking to do. This is looking from Blue Hill Avenue towards the property. This is the first floor, and there's a second, you can see the second floor set back. The addition is proposed over this section of the first floor, and there's a deck over the right-hand side of it. So you can see another image of the house. This is where the proposed addition is over the existing home. There is no proposed increase in the size of the home. I'll pull up the rendering from the architect, which also helps to kind of give you an idea of what we're proposing. This is the existing home. If you're looking from Blue Hill Avenue towards the structure, you can see the garage, the first floor. What we're proposing to do is put an addition over that first floor and roof deck. So we're not going to be increasing the degraded nature of the site. It all occurs within the existing footprint. I thought that it would be best for the applicant to present this to the commission and get a determination of applicability so that everybody's on the same page with what the work is and he can proceed with a building permit. I think a determination that this doesn't require a notice is a safer way to go. It is within an existing footprint and there's no increase, and he may not have had to technically file, but I think this is a safer way, and I hope the commission agrees.
No, I appreciate, Brad, that you did file for it, because I agree. I see that some of the project is inside a 25-foot non-disturbance zone, but that's clearly grandfathered in. It's been there. The house has been there quite a while. So I don't have an issue with that, but I am very concerned with the erosion controls because you're working so close to the wetlands. Can you go through the erosion controls? And I'm looking at if you're standing with your back to Blue Hill Avenue, it's basically the left side of the project, in between the wetlands and the house.
Sure. Well, we're not proposing any earthwork, although I did put into the notice of intent narrative that we would put construction fencing up, uh, basically along that edge of the property. There's a pathway of lawn or yard, so that there is a clear distinction not to go beyond that, or there's no, any stockpiling of materials would be within the existing paved driveway, but there aren't any earthwork activities to create open soil that would require, a silt sock or straw wattles.
All right, what about equipment there? Do you have the boom truck, scissor lift? How do you get the workers up to the top floor?
They would just go, the driveway is right here, leads right, there's a large paved driveway, it leads right in, that's where the garage is under the first floor. So that any transport of materials can be right there, right off the paved driveway. Let me pull up the photo a little bit. I think I can show you a little better. That's the rear of the house looking towards Blue Hill Avenue. So if you see this is all paved right to the garage and location here. Any sort of equipment or boom truck or whatnot could pull up to this location and transport it to that second floor.
Got it. Okay. All right. Just be aware of our, and I shouldn't call it boilerplate, but our regular, customary boilerplate special condition, which is no storage of that equipment overnight within our jurisdiction and no refueling of that equipment within our jurisdiction. But what you just said does make sense. All right.
That would work for
Questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, I just add that I know this property very well from across a number of years, and I'd recommend approval of an RDA.
All right, which would be a negative determination with the conditions of, as I said, no storage overnight, no refueling within our jurisdiction. And I think all commission members will agree, because we just permitted, I think Ann Grealish is next door, and we just permitted a French drain between her property and this property. I think that's the line, isn't it? Because just to the going in her driveway, just to the left, we asked her to put in a French drain. She was doing some work in that area. So I know the water is flowing in the direction of the wetlands, which is, as we look at this picture, off to the left.
That's correct.
Correct.
So you're right. We've all been there. That's important, because very often we want to look to verify the wetlands, but we've been there within the last 6 months. Any other thoughts or comments? Commission members, abutters, members of the public? I can't see any hands raised. Brad, could you take that down? Now I can see. Okay, so I don't see any hands raised. Any comments, questions, either from members of the public, abutters, commission members? All right, so Arthur has made a motion to issue a negative determination with those special conditions. Is there a second for Arthur's motion?
Second.
All right, thanks, Charlie. Any discussion among commission members? All right, go across the top there. Hans, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Ingrid?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Arthur? Arthur, I didn't hear you, Arthur. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. Charlie?
Yes.
And I, John Kiernan, vote yes as well. So we're good to go. All right. Thank you very much, Brad. Thanks all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is number 3, supplemental planting. And this is at 5 Wagon Wheel Drive.
Good evening, members of the commission. Brad Holmes again with ECR. This is a project that has been in front of you for a while. It's been lingering, but not on the sense of our intent. This is in response to enforcement action. There was a restoration plan and implementation of planting to remediate the removal of trees. We had a plan that was agreed upon by the commission to restore a good number of trees at the site. We performed probably more than half of that work, but within the designated area where we were going to put about 30 trees, it's really not suitable for planting because of the boulders underlying the area where we would plant. So we had presented to the commission an alternative to relocate those trees within the wetland system. And then we had talked about shrubs instead and kind of working those numbers with the Milton Conservation Commission's replacement policy. I think I'll share my screen. I think what we briefed this proposal with the commission. Let's see if you can see it at one of the last meetings. But was to use the wetland area to interplant 30 saplings within that area, and I think the commission was on board with it, but we hadn't had a finalized plan. We're here to hopefully get your blessing so that we can implement the remaining portion of this restoration work to add these trees to the site, and that would complete the requirements for tree revegetation at the site.
Sounds good. Wendy, do you have any comments on the proposed shrubs and replacement trees?
Not off the top of my head, but
Well, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. You're better at it than I am. They look good to me.
Ingrid's better at it than I am.
All right, Ingrid, you're on. What do you think?
At it now. Yeah, no, I think they're fine. I like the larches.
We try to go with a diversity to add some benefit to the site.
Yeah, no, I don't have any strong feelings, but I think it's a nice list.
So, Brad, if I may, how are you going to be installing the trees? I mean, they're pretty small, right?
They're the 6 to 8 feet can be walked in. They're not too heavy. They'll be containerized plants, so they're not balled and burlap that we need a machine.
Okay, perfect.
And just, because, you mentioned our replacement policy, is there a conversion factor? And I know it may depend upon what kind of tree, what species of tree, but you've got 6 to 8 feet. Does that translate into circumference or caliper or diameter?
We had previously tried to go to to go to shrubs, and then the numbers got crazy, so that we're back to the saplings. I think that I could get you a better inch as far as the caliper size, what these would be, but I would say a 6 to 8 foot tree, you'd be looking at probably in the ballpark of an inch diameter, or in caliper size.
That's about right.
Okay.
And John,
it looked like a lot of trees when it's 30, but again, if this was if it came from, I guess originally it was an enforcement order. I just want to make sure that it conforms to our measurement of our unit measurement, which the number looks fine. But I just didn't know if there was a way to convert that 6 to 8 feet into it. And I think you just did that. That may be an inch in diameter. Steve, do you have a thought of that?
The numbers.
Yes, John. I think it's a good plan. It's very diverse, and it's a shady area, so some of these trees will do very, very well. I think they'll grow very, very fast in this location. I think it's a good list too, Ingrid. I agree with you.
Good. All right, and you're looking to revegetate in the springtime as the appropriate planting time?
Yes.
All right, good. And you've got a maintenance schedule for irrigation and pruning as necessary. All looks good to me. Any other thoughts from commissioners or abutters or members of the public? I don't see everybody in the screen, so speak up so we can hear you anyway.
I have one last thought, and that is that the ground's not frozen yet, so technically you could plant in the fall. Steve, I don't know, Ingrid, if you guys have any thoughts about that.
I think
Yes, as long as the ground stays above 42 degrees at depth, then you've got, which is biological 0. You can do very well, but you can't predict the weather. That's the issue.
Right.
So we're in almost late November. I think we should go to the spring, frankly.
It's pushing it.
I agree.
Yeah, that's all.
Any other?
I wouldn't plant anything now myself, for example.
Right. Any other questions or comments from commissioners? Abutters, members of the public? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve this supplemental planting plan as submitted by Brad Holmes?
So moved.
All right, thanks, Wendy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, thanks, Wendy. Any discussion among commission members? Seeing no hands raised, hearing nothing, we'll go to a vote. Individual, Hans, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
Ingrid?
Yes.
Arthur?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Charlie?
Yes.
And I, John Kiernan, vote yes as well. So thank you very much, Brad. You're good to go.
Thank you. We'll keep you posted. Thank you.
All right, great, thanks.
Thanks,
Next on the agenda is number 4. That's request for
Thank you,
determination
Steve.
of applicability at Granite Avenue gas main.
Hi, I'm Leah Basbanes from Basbanes Wetlands Consulting, representing here for MSR Utility Maintenance, and I believe Matt Raymond is on this call as well. So this is a project that is being done for the maintenance of the existing public utility of the National Grid gas line. Typically, this is an exempt activity under the Wetlands Protection Act regulations, and I believe also under the Milton bylaw. But we were requested to submit this application anyway, just to give for clarification to the board. If I can share my screen. Able to do that.
Good.
Okay. So what I have here is actually it's an aerial on near map that shows the location of the property. You can see where my cursor is. This is 2 Granite Ave, the building, and the location of the work is going. This is Granite Ave, and the location of the work is going to be right along this edge, the bottom of the slope of that parking lot area. So it extends from, there's I believe a rectifier box here, utility pole that the project will tie into, and extends along this edge here. And what the project is the an anode bed, sorry. It's a trench will be dug. It's approximately 2 feet wide and approximately 90 to 100 feet long. You dig the trench down approximately a foot or so, or 2 feet, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. And just to strip off the top, and then there's a vacuum pump drill that will drill down the holes to install the anodes, which are 3-inch round. I believe they're 10 feet long.
3
15 feet.
inches by 10 feet, it says on your plan.
3 by, okay, perfect. 3 by 10, 15. So there's a vacuum drill. So there's no spoils that are brought up to the surface in the process. Within that trench, they're dug down and they're spaced 10 feet apart. And then once they're all installed, they run the cable between the anodes, ties it into the rectifier pole, backfilled, seated, and that's it. Stabilized. Erosion control is placed in prior to, obviously, stays in sight until seed is germinated to stabilize the area. So the work is close to the wetland, but is not in the wetland. It's in an area that is quite disturbed already. No vegetation is going to be removed. And it's a pretty quick process. Usually the jobs are done within 2 to 3 days max.
That's really my concern. This is a sensitive site, and it's got some history with the Conservation Commission. 30 years ago, the Conservation Commission was asked to see if we could find a developer to develop the site. The reason was a previous developer had started a project and had gone bankrupt. And we had a sort of a rusting hulk sitting there for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. And then in the mid-90s, the Conservation Commission went out and we actually tried to find somebody to develop it. The reason is, historically, the site was the Bonnie and Carey lumber area, and it was contaminated. And so we wanted to make sure a developer came in and finished the original project. This is before 2 Granite Avenue, because we wanted to make sure that the contaminated soils were removed. And that's when the company that came in, it was John Flatley, actually, that came in and developed this project. And under all kinds of DEP supervision, ensured that the contamination was removed to their standards. So this, if you're taking out 100 feet, 2 feet down, 2 feet wide, that's a lot of soil to come out. I just want to make sure that, to the extent that there's a risk of, and I'm not suggesting that you do a 21E kind of assessment. I'm not suggesting that, but I'm just suggesting that the erosion controls have to be pretty good, because we want to make sure that there's no contaminated soil that's dredged up from beneath the surface and then allowed to get into the wetlands. I think that area, because most of the contamination going back 30 years was actually on the riverside of the building.
Okay.
But we've been very careful about this, including about 15 years ago. I think it was Coastal Zone Management came in and they removed a series of pilings. And when they dredged the pilings, when they pulled them up, it released a lot of contaminated soil that was beneath there. But they did it very carefully and with all kinds of quality controls to make sure that it didn't migrate into the river. So it's a pretty sensitive area. So I just want to make sure that the soil that is stockpiled, at least temporarily, is protected. How long does the project take? I know it's about 90 to 100 feet long. How long does the whole project take?
Matt, can you speak to that? I saw his phone number on there.
Okay, so he's logged in at least.
Yes, I
Would
believe
he
he
be
is.
on mute? I can't see his screen.
You see 1978, some asterisk 014.
It's a 0014.
Okay.
Let me just give him a quick call. I can hear you. They can't hear you online. Yeah, just unmute. Okay. Okay. Are you there, Matt?
If he can hear you, just ask the question, if he knows how long it takes to backfill the trench. How long is the spoils going to be outside of the trench?
Okay, all right. Two days to drill it, 1 day to trench it, he said. So the material that's pulled out, the scraping off the top to create the trench for the cable, it all goes back in, but it's also conserved with the erosion control. And then once the anodes are drilled in, that same soil is spread back down. So there's no other soil when they're installing. No anodes need to be removed from the ground, so that's not a problem. So any of the soil that is being drawn up out of the ground, it goes into the drill pump truck. So there's no, potential for contamination of soil being brought to the surface. It's really only that first bit of topsoil that's being pulled off to create the ability to drill the anodes into the ground.
But that topsoil that you referenced, that's 2 feet deep, 2 feet wide, and 100 feet long.
Is that, Matt, is that correct? Is it 2 feet deep? The topsoil, it's.
That's what it says in the letter.
He confirmed to me that it's should be less than a foot. So I was incorrect in the depth on that.
Okay, but it sounds like the soil is going to be sitting on the surface to the side of the trench for 2 to 3 days. I just want to make sure that the erosion controls are good and solid, because it's going to be sitting right next to our wetlands.
Correct.
So I
understand.
think it's a fixable issue.
Are you asking then to add in silt fence along with the wattle?
I'd defer to Tom, Hans, Steve. What do you think?
Love to see compost tubes.
The compost tubes?
Yes. Does that make sense to you, Leah?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a problem at all. Matt, compost tubes, good for the erosion control? Yeah, he said that's fine.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
That makes sense to everybody. I don't mean to pick on anybody, but Charlie, I mean, you know the business. Those tubes work?
Hans has got his hands up. Hand up.
I didn't see that. Sorry, Hans.
That's all right. So yeah, compost filter sock should work as long as it's installed correctly and is staked down appropriately. I did have a separate question. So whenever you're done
okay.
on this, I'm just confused because, for example, we have another RDA for maintenance work on the agenda tonight for gas work. And in that application, the applicant isn't the contractor, it's National Grid. I'm just wondering, one, I guess I want to confirm that this is in fact a National Grid project because, and that just it just doesn't match up the way that we see other applications or notifications of exempt activities. Usually those are funneled through the utility themselves and not the contractor.
Well, so Matt Raymond is the owner of MSR Utility Maintenance. He does the contract work for National Grid. I do this a lot for Matt in different towns, so I don't know a different procedure or why National Grid didn't do it themselves. We do work with woman Leo Mary, who has written a letter for me for a different project in Ipswich that I can provide that to you, just, giving me authorization to submit this on behalf of National Grid. But I've never really had this question.
Like I said, typically we see National Grid or Boston Gas as the applicant.
Matt, can you answer that?
Leah, I think you have to translate for him.
Yeah, I think so. Hold on.
I mean, I do see
You
one
there?
sheet.
I can hear you now. Yeah, okay. Okay, so National Grid subs him out to do all of the rectifiers in New England. So they are just, maybe it's just specific for this particular type of work with the anode bed rectifier replacements, but yeah, he said that he's also installed the last two at this location. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it is a National Grid project, but being done by a subcontractor for National Grid.
So then the applicant would be National Grid and the,
Okay, well, that's an error, I guess, in my information is putting down. I can correct that if you like.
I
put down MSR as the applicant.
Okay. I mean, so.
Because he is doing
Do you understand what I'm saying?
on
Is that,
behalf of National Grid.
yeah. John, do you see kind of where I'm going with this?
Yeah, sure. But I think that they, maybe we could just
It's probably
do some
it sounds like
edits.
it's, for the most part, it's appropriate. I think there's just kind of a, just making sure that this is, a grid project or it's not, or,
So why don't we just amend it?
Provide us in terms of, just showing that it's contracted work or something like that so that we can uncomplicate the issue.
So why don't we just say that it's, MSR as agent for National Grid or on behalf of National
Yeah,
Grid?
I mean, that's,
Okay.
it is what it is. Yeah, I think that just want to make sure we clarify that.
All right, Leah, is that something you could just, do that amendment or approve that amendment?
Oh, sure, yeah. And I can revise the RDA and put down National Grid.
Yeah, I mean,
you could do it either way, revise it and say National Grid, or you could just say MSR on behalf of National Grid.
Yeah, sure.
And to be clear, I'm very familiar with the exemption. I have utilized the exemption myself. I know exactly. So
yeah,
that's the only piece I think that
okay,
I'd like to see for this.
Right.
Yeah, sure, I can provide that. That's fine.
Any other comments or questions?
Is the wetland boundary, have you flagged it at all or
I have not.
It's not, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty well defined. You can see there, and they're obviously not going to be doing the work actually in the wetland. So we need, but
it's Hans, it's pretty much toe of slope in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
If you've looked at it, I'm good.
Yep. Been out there.
Tom Palmer?
Yeah, my question is, what is an anode?
What is an anode, Matt, exactly?
I went to Dr. Google on that one, Tom.
Yeah, they're
My next
I'm not
question
sure
is,
exactly what they're made of, but they are the device. They're rods, a rod that of a particular chemical composition that prevents the corrosion of the gas line. Something to.
that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. It's like
what's
what's in a hot water heater in your house that help prevent.
Or on a boat. You put it on the boat.
Yeah.
A boat, exactly.
It's a boat. Yep.
What's it made of?
You know what it's made of, Matt?
Yeah, it says right on the cut sheet.
Is it zinc?
I thought it was zinc. I believe it's zinc.
Yeah.
Zinc.
Most of them are.
Ingrid, you should know that.
It's zinc on my boat.
Yeah,
Zinc.
zinc on mine.
It's going down 15 feet, and it's replacing a loop that was horizontal, according to the
Oh,
very nice description you submitted. Let me ask this, is the old one going to be removed when you put in the new one?
No, they deteriorate over time. So no, there's
Would it
nothing.
be a
that's
good
being
idea to
removed.
remove a lot of zinc if we're not
Well-
using it anymore?
They're sacrificial, Tom.
Yeah.
That's the statement, that's the name of them. Sacrificial anodes.
Right.
Well, you know that you can't turn zinc into anything else, right? I mean,
No,
it's going to, if it's zinc once, it stays being zinc, right?
the components, however, deteriorate and move into the soil, as I understand.
It erodes.
Exactly.
The zinc erodes into the soil.
Yes.
I would say corrodes is probably the more accurate term. So
Thank you.
Instead of
Yes,
the
corrodes.
gas main corroding, the anode corrodes instead
Exactly.
electrolysis.
It's not really ideal, is it, to be putting all this metal in the wetland edge?
It'd be worse
I
to
guess
have the
that's the
gas
way-
main deteriorate.
That's right.
Yes, it would.
What's a rectifier?
The rectifier, Matt. So it's the. So that's where the why. Is there an electrical component to that, Matt?
Yeah, it's a charge. I think it's a positive charge, isn't it? Anode.
It takes a positive a DC charge to an AC charge, or vice versa. So it's the an AC charge to a DC charge. So it's the electrical component of the system that makes it work to prevent the gas line from corroding.
Does it look like a box on a pole?
Yes.
It doesn't matter that these anodes will be in saturated conditions all the time. At least most of them will be.
Matt, does it matter that the anodes are in a saturated condition?
No.
I don't think so. They use them on boats,
It's
Tom.
actually preferable. It's better.
Yeah, I just didn't know what this was. I didn't know what an anode was, and I'm not really too pleased to learn that it's something that deliberately will be allowed to discharge or release heavy metal into the wetland. But that's what it is, I guess, right? That's how it works.
Yep. And the zinc is going off boats into the ocean.
It's not that soluble, I don't think. I mean, in this place, I think it will just accumulate there, right? Don't you think?
Don't know offhand, Tom.
Well, I don't really know anything about the toxicity of zinc, but I think this technology is not ideal in that it pollutes a wetland by adding metals. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to approve the project.
Well, I don't know enough about the science, Tom. You make some good points, but I do know that it's used universally as a mechanism to prevent corrosion, whether it's a boat engine or a gas main line.
What does it look like on a boat? What does the anode look like?
Like a fist.
Yeah, it's about this. It's just a
Where
little
is it on the boat?
It's right near the prop.
Yeah, you can hang it. You can affix it different ways. You just make sure it sticks to the hull so it doesn't go anywhere.
Doesn't have to be wired to anything.
No.
All right. Well,
And it can
I'll stop.
completely erode, corrode, whatever the right word is. It can, depending on where you are, it can completely, essentially disintegrate.
Disappear.
Disappear. Right.
Easy. It can happen pretty quickly.
Yeah,
these
well,
These are
I think
used
it's fair to
all over
say
the place.
Leah, what is the half-life typically in your situation?
Matt, what's the half-life in a situation like this?
Hello.
About 20 years is typical for replacement.
well, we were just talking about contaminated soil at this site, and we're proposing to
It's
contaminate
very
some more.
By comparison, very, very slow. It seems.
I'm not sure that when it disappears. I mean, I know, you know, we're not, matter has to go somewhere in some form. I understand that, but I agree with Ingrid. If you look at what we use on boats, it literally disappears. It's not there after 10 years. Or
Well,
a big chunk of it.
it goes into the ocean.
Yeah,
Right.
I guess it does. But does it go in as a heavy metal, or does it go in? Does it sort of subdivide into its constituent parts?
No, it
Well,
stays.
there are no constituent parts, I guess.
That's correct. Yeah, because it's an element.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know the chemistry of it either.
it is considered a pollutant in a soil sample. I mean, it's tested for. When you test soils, zinc is tested for.
I just don't know what an alternative, technology is, Tom. I think, at least in some industries, it's the only game in town. And I don't know of any alternatives. Hans, do you?
I mean, there's other types of metals, but I don't think that I'm almost certain that having a zinc anode, right? Anode installed wouldn't constitute a release of chemicals into the environment. So
but it would release the chemicals, right?
So the process of the anode corroding would not be considered a release.
But it would be a release, would it not?
I guess if you're looking at the word release in its purest form, yes, but I'm talking
reality.
I'm talking about the term release as it applies to Massachusetts Chapter 21E General Law. So I'm talking about a spill or anything similar.
Gotcha.
Bob Hannigan has his hand up as well.
Yes.
John.
Yeah, Bob. What do you know about?
Two things, John. Years ago, we did work for John Flatley for the 2 Granite Ave. And as I recall, most of the issues were with respect to the river, PCBs, and removal of the piers and the wharf.
Yes.
I just Googled zinc. It says, yes, zinc is considered a heavy metal. While some heavy metals are toxic, zinc is also an essential nutrient for the human body in small amounts. It is classified as a heavy metal based on its high density, which is greater than 5 grams per cubic centimeter. So, what do you prefer? A little question about zinc or
mercury? I'd rather have zinc than mercury, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure this mercury is involved here, but
no, I wasn't suggesting.
Yeah, I mean, a corroded gas line with a leak that might I'm speculating here that might cause a fire to destroy a lot of the wetlands there, but that's
You're making the lesser of two evils argument, right? That we heard before, that we need to protect the pipe.
Considerably less, but that's my opinion.
And it's
Uneducated
opinion.
opinion.
The pipe is metal because all of the gas lines I've seen them replacing in recent months have been yellow plastic, but this one is metal, right?
I don't recall that they're. I may be wrong that they're replacing the gas line.
Yeah, I've seen it in many places. Like
No, this in this project.
not this gas line.
This is not gas line replacement. This is simply the anode bed.
Correct.
Right.
To monitor the condition of the gas line.
Right,
Correct?
and to protect a metal gas line, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all
Correct.
right. I'm good.
Okay, interesting points, but I think it is industry standard. And I agree with Hans that this would not be a release, at least under the circular
John,
brickwork and 21E.
John, can I interrupt you for a second? It looks
Yes.
to me, based on a quick search, that for gas lines, as opposed to what we were talking about for a sacrificial anode for a boat, which is usually zinc, for gas lines, the most common element is magnesium. So maybe a whole different ballgame.
Does that sound right? Magnesium, Matt? You said they are not magnesium anodes.
They're not. Well, does he know what it is?
Do you recall what these are?
You hear me?
There was a bill of, yeah, we're trying to just quickly find to see what these are.
Thank you.
It's either zinc or cast iron anodes. Do you know which ones you're going to go with? Okay. Okay, so that's going to be the zinc ones that they're going to use.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Leo, I just had one question on your project description. You said the project's not within 200 feet of a perennial stream. Are you saying that it's not within 200 feet of the Neponset, or are you saying the Neponset's not a perennial stream?
I'm saying that not within 200 feet of the Neponset.
Really? Okay.
I mean, this is the Neponset here.
Yeah.
And provide a measurement from where the project is 400 feet. at the closest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Interesting discussion. I still think it's industry standard. And it does qualify for the exemption, and we'll make that adjustment so that the MSR will be the applicant on behalf of National Grid.
Okay.
Are there any other comments, questions of commission members, abutters, members of the public, anybody? I can't see any hands raised. Steve, or maybe Leah, I don't know who's screen sharing. Take that down. We can see everybody if anybody's hand is raised. I don't see any.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
All right. So is there a motion to, I'm sorry, this is a RDA. So it would be a negative determination conditioned upon the erosion controls that we've described and installed appropriately. When I say appropriately, does that mean they should be staked? Am I correct, Steve?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Was the silt sack you asked for?
Yes, please.
Big silt sack. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
That's because they cover the ground better than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's not a problem.
The only other thing is that we do have a customary, a special condition, and that is that we don't have overnight storage of the heavy equipment, motorized, particularly the hydraulic stuff. I don't know what your drills look like or your trenchers, but they cannot be stored overnight or refueled within our jurisdiction. So you have to have a staging area that was away from our wetlands.
Did you hear that, Matt?
Yes.
Okay, and any other special conditions, commission members? So, yeah, is there a motion to issue a negative determination with those special conditions? That is the erosion controls, silk sock staked, no overnight storage or refueling.
So moved.
Thanks, Arthur. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Ingrid. Any discussion? Hearing none. Hans, how do you vote?
I vote yes for negative determination.
Ingrid?
Yes.
Tom Palmer?
Yes.
Arthur?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Charlie?
Yes.
And I, John Kieran, vote yes as well. Leah, thank you very much. We appreciate your patience with us and all
All
our
right,
questions.
thank you very much. And I will get that revision to you, to Philip and Steve tomorrow morning, first thing.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much.
All right, great. Thank you. Take care.
Next is request for determination of applicability. This is Guilford Row.
Yep, that would be me. Good evening, everybody. For the record, Nate Goshgarian with LEC Environmental. I am the wetland scientist with LEC who works with Boston Gas Company, which is under the umbrella of National Grid. So not too dissimilar from the project that was prior to this. This is my first time in front of the Milton Conservation, so I'd like to say thank you to Steve and Philip for their succinct communication during this process, and Mr. Chairman, as you led us to this RDA filing for which we're here tonight. This is a pretty straightforward project. It is the replacement of approximately 900 feet of gas main along Guilford Road, which is nestled between the eastern side 93 and Granite Ave, directly southeast of the Neponset River, but exceeding about 400 feet. With your permission, could I share my screen to show the aerial?
That's great. Can you help out, Steve?
Just go right ahead, Nate. There you go. Good.
Okay, so everybody can see the aerial? Great. All right, so this is our 900-foot linear foot extent of the replacement. In terms of the protected wetland resource areas that are on or within 100 feet of this project footprint, we've got a small segment, approximately 200 feet, which is within the 100-foot buffer zone to salt marsh associated with the Neponset River. This is approximately 85 to 95 feet from the border of salt marsh within this vicinity. Again, the vast majority is outside the buffer zone. In terms of the methodology with the replacement, again, this is a replacement. We're not looking to expand the footprint or add any additional piping within. Excavation would be required. The trench is typically 3 feet by 4 feet. The spoils, if they're not backfilled that day, are covered by a tarp. And a segment this long, particularly the 200-foot section, which is in the 100-foot buffer zone, would take probably a day. And I say this in terms of the concern for storing equipment overnight in that vicinity. Excavation portions that are not completed in a day are covered with metal sheeting overnight, so we don't have any gaping excavations during the course of the night, which is kind of an often raised point for people who are concerned about driving down that road. And that's really the general snapshot of this project. Again, we are replacing approximately 900 feet of gas main in Guilford Road. 200 feet of that is within 100 feet of salt marsh, more specifically 85 feet to 95 feet. And if necessary, depending on weather and topography and conditions out there, erosion controls would include silt fence and wattle. That's all I have for the presentation. Happy to take any questions.
How about any catch basins within that? I'm looking at your yellow, line there designating I presume that's the 100-foot buffer zone from the salt
Correct.
marsh.
Yep, correct. The yellow line is the 100-foot buffer zone. Hard to tell from this image. There may be one. Take a closer look.
Okay, it's an easy fix, I think, for you. But if you could just, add some kind of a siltation device at the catch basin so that nothing goes down the drain if we've got a downpour.
Okay.
Nate, I heard
Yes.
wattles. Wattles are not useful for erosion control, period. Okay.
Stake silt sock is what I was probably trying to go for.
There you go. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Good point, Steve. Thank you for the correction.
Certainly. Anytime.
All right, this looks pretty straightforward. Commission members,
Yes.
any questions? It's the proximity to the salt marsh, and on the flip side of the expressway, right where the just before, if you're heading south on the expressway, just before you get off of exit 10, there's like a drive-off area for cars or trucks, and we had a spill there about 7 years ago, maybe. And so we had Clean Harbors come out, another emergency remediation project that we had to approve after the fact. But it is a pretty sensitive area. So my only concern was really the erosion controls, in the length of time that the trench is going to be open. But Nate answered that pretty directly, and I'm comfortable with that plan. Any questions from commission members?
I have one. I'm looking at the RDA Part B project description. Proposed maintenance activities include the replacement of 795 feet of cast iron pipe. When that pipe is being replaced, what's going to happen to it?
It's removed from the scene, and after that, I honestly am not too sure. It may be recycled. Certainly, I don't think it would be repurposed for anything.
I was wondering whether it would be removed or not.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that it's being removed.
Yeah, the assumption
Probably
is that
goes-
it's in a degraded state, so it wouldn't be used secondarily after the removal.
It probably goes to India or China, one of the two.
Now, any other thoughts or questions? All right, with that, and is it being replaced with cast iron as well, or is it being
Plastic.
replaced with? It is cast iron.
It is plastic.
Oh, it's plastic. Okay.
It is plastic.
4-inch plastic.
Correct.
I've seen it in many places around town. There's been a lot of this work lately.
Yeah, a lot
Usually
of
has a black stripe along one side.
exactly yellow with a black stripe.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Any other questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to issue a negative determination with the special conditions, including the silt sock staked and no overnight storage or refueling within our jurisdiction?
I'll move that we issue the negative determination.
All right, is there a second for Tom's motion?
Second.
Second.
All right, thanks, Charlie. Any discussion among commission members? Hearing none. Hans, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Ingrid?
Yes.
Arthur?
Yes.
Tom Palmer?
Yes.
Charlie?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
And I, John Kiernan, yes, as well. Nate, thank you very much. I think you're good to go.
Thank you for your time, everybody. Good night.
All right, thanks. Next on the agenda is Certificate of Compliance, 600 Canton Avenue. Yes, 600 Canton Avenue?
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, now we can.
I didn't know if it was me or if it was the Zoom. I was so confused for a second.
No one knows.
Okay.
It was a ghost in the machine.
It must have been. Yes, 600 Cannon New. For the record, my name is Tyler Lepshansky with Beals Associates, representing the applicant, Winter Valley Residences. This is for the Garden Pond Restoration Project. And I'm here this evening to request a certificate of compliance for order conditions number 460635. That was issued in February 2024. The order was issued for the restoration of an existing garden pond by removing debris, sediment, and invasives, as well as the maintenance of some overgrown vegetation to improve the overall resource area. Since then, the restoration has been completed, and an as-built plan was created and submitted in the request for the certificate of compliance, along with the engineer certification stating the work has been completed in general accordance with the plans. If I could share my screen, I have a few photos.
You'd be able to do that now, Tyler.
Got it. Okay, does everyone see that?
Yes, that's
Yes.
that's great.
Okay.
Thanks.
So this is pre-restoration. As you can see, the yellow flag iris, the invasives, fully grown in there. This is post-restoration. All the invasives have been removed. The overgrown vegetation has been cut down. And then this being the outlet control structure on the left, you can see some debris in the rock covering the grate. And on the right, you can see the debris has been removed and the OCS is functioning as intended. When I was out there on site, I inspected it and it looked great. Water was flowing full through and everything was all set there. And then the as-built plan showing the contours that we shot in a site visit. And with that, that'd be all for me.
Now, we did a site visit for this, and I know it's a very beautiful area.
Yep.
It wasn't part of the plan to remove some trees that had fallen into the pond?
Yes, so those trees were removed, and they're no longer there.
All right.
And
Steve,
John,
have you been up there to see this?
Philip and I have been out there, and we were out there on Friday. It looks beautiful.
Oh, that's nice.
It really
That's
does.
good to hear.
Yep.
I'll tell you, it was
Nice
not
job.
fun. It was not fun shooting survey points in there. That water is, that pond is full.
Cold water.
Oh yeah.
So now, is this accessible to both, the residents of Winter Valley and to Mr. and Mrs. Lane?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's good, because I know one of the issues wasn't an issue, but one of the points of discussion was to make it accessible and approachable. And I think at one point there was a proposal to cut a trail, and then that was deferred or
Correct.
withdrawn or something.
Yeah, we revised it to remove that from the plans.
That's good. All right. All right. So it looks good. It looks good to me. So you're seeking what? A certificate of compliance.
Correct.
All right. And it is your attestation that this was done in substantial compliance with the approved plan. That's a question.
Yes, mine and my principal engineer, Todd, whose stamp is on that.
All right. Perfect. Any questions from commission members?
Of course, I have one. Where does that well or outlet, where does the water come to the surface again from that outlet?
So there's a weir in there, and once water builds up, it spills out, and there's a stone swale that goes plan.
It's actually it's a culvert, Tyler.
Okay.
It's down the hill.
Underneath, yep.
Underneath in a wetlands at the toe of the slope on the hill.
Okay.
I think I know where you mean, Steve,
Yep.
and it's like hundreds of feet long, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Yeah.
is. And it's a very steep slope, so it moves very fast down the slope.
Another question, now that all the invasives are removed and you have a nice sunny pond and a sunny bank, what is going to grow in there to replace those invasives? Because sun and water is what you need to grow, right? Something was going to arrive and grow there.
Right. So that area was seeded with the New England wetland or mix. And the invasives were removed to the best of our ability. We used the best management practices possible to fully remove those invasives.
Does the mix mean plants that are growing on the wetland edge or growing in the water?
So the area disturbed was seeded as well as the pond itself with the New England wetland mix.
What are the plants in that? Do you know?
Off the top of my head, I do not.
There's a whole bunch of them, Tom. You can look them up.
Are there
easily.
some of them like plants that are actually aquatic plants?
Yes.
Like what would they be?
I don't remember all of them, so I'm not even going to start.
All right. I'm just curious because,
You're wondering if there's any emergent plants, right? I believe there are
well,
some
no,
emergents.
aquatics can be submersed, like
Right.
rooted in the ground,
Yeah,
or
I
they
don't
can
think there's
be
any
floating
submersed.
leaves, or they can be floating altogether, like duckweed.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's a variety of things. I'm wondering, I guess we will find out what starts to grow there if we go back. But Steve, I took it from you that you felt that the certificate is justified.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Any other thoughts, questions, comments from commission members? Wendy, yes.
I have a feel good comment. The one of the residents of Winter Valley has taken a strong interest in this project and has collaborated with the Milton Garden Club. One of the Garden Club members, Georgia Lee, who has um, been here in several of our meetings, and they have submitted a application to the Community Preservation Committee to further restore the garden surrounding this beautiful pond. So hopefully this area will be um, well enjoyed and loved by the residents of Winter Valley.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that is a feel-good message. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's good news. And anyone else comments, questions, including abutters, members of the public, interested parties? All right, hearing none, this is a request for certificate of compliance. And we don't have, this is a restoration project, so we don't have to wait 2 growing seasons. So I think we're ready
That's right.
for a motion to issue the certificate of compliance. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
All right, thanks, Tom. Is there a second?
I second.
Thanks, Wendy. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Tom Palmer, your vote?
I vote yes.
Arthur Doyle? Arthur Doyle?
He's
You're
on
on,
mute.
you're on mute. Yep, this is
I
the
am.
vote on the certificate of compliance.
Yes.
All right, thanks. Wendy?
Yes.
Hans?
Yes.
Ingrid?
Yes.
Charlie?
Yes.
And I, John Kiernan, vote yes as well. Thank you very much, Tyler. I appreciate your presentation and appreciate the project too. Make sure you tell Branch Lane and the folks at Winter Valley that it's a good project.
Will do. Thank you.
Excuse me, Steve, can you let Deb Keller in, please?
I'm still here. Yes, go on.
You need to let Deb Keller into the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
You kicked her out, huh?
I must have. Hopefully she's back in now.
There she is.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Philip.
No problem.
Hey, welcome back, Deb.
The screen is not big enough.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is number 7, Certificate of Compliance 85 Highland Street.
Yes, for the record, my name is Tyler Levshansky with Beals Associates representing the applicant, Branch and Betsy Lane. Here for a request for certificate of compliance, order conditions 046-0635. As stated, restoration has been completed, as-built plan was created and submitted in the request for certificate of compliance, along with the certification stating the work has been completed in general accordance with the plans.
And this is one and the same?
Yes, so there are the two properties within the project area, so there's two order of conditions.
All right, so it's really the same discussion, the same
Correct.
demonstration, same,
Yep.
same.
Same.
So the feel-good comments, I would assume apply to this one as well, Wendy?
Yes.
All right. Any discussion, questions, comments, both from commission members and abutters and members of the public?
I don't get it. Why is this a different one?
It's on two pieces of property, I guess. I actually thought
Two different owners.
I
Two
thought
different
it
owners,
was
Tom.
a joint application with both of them on it and a single project number, but apparently it was given two project numbers.
Okay.
And
Same
Branch and-
project.
And Branch and Betsy were with us on site at that site walk that you cited earlier, John.
Oh, I know, absolutely. I remember it well. So is there a motion to approve this? I mean, we've had the full discussion of the project.
So
Is
moved.
there a motion to issue the certificate of compliance?
Shouldn't we ask if Branch and Betsy want to comment? Are they here?
They're not here.
No, they're not, but Tyler is speaking for them. Correct, Tyler?
Correct.
Okay, I'm sorry I interrupted.
And
Arthur,
has
did you make a motion, Arthur?
Correct.
All right, is there a second to Arthur's motion to issue the certificate of compliance?
Second.
All right, thanks. Charlie, I heard you. There may have been somebody else, but I heard Charlie. Any discussion among commission members? Hearing none, seeing no hands raised. Tom Palmer, how do you vote?
Yes.
Arthur?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Hans?
Yes.
Ingrid?
Yes.
Charlie?
Yes.
And I, John Kiernan, vote yes as well. Thank you again, Tyler, and then extend our thanks to Branch and his good wife. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Tom.
Next on the agenda is 4 to 6 School Street. Is that Bob? Is that you, Bob?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect.
We're here for a certificate of compliance for Steve Harold, 4 to 6 School Street in Milton, corner of Central Ave and School Street. The property is for sale, and they're looking for a certificate of compliance. I submitted a request for the certificate. There's a question about the issue about the brick walkway that it was not quite in the location of the approved plan. It's closer to the building and farther from Pine Tree Brook. There's a AC unit that wasn't shown on the plan, a mini split also that wasn't shown on the plan, and the deck is slightly different than what was shown on the plan, minimally about a foot difference, and then the steps up to the deck are a little bit different configuration than what was shown on the plan, but aside from that, everything else is according to plan.
And I have seen it, and it looks fine. Looks great.
I'm trying to put in my mind when we first approved this. What's the date on the? I've got it in my hand here. But what's the date on the order conditions?
It's way back.
Way back, 1998 or 1999.
Well,
The lot, FYI, is directly adjacent, of course, to the stream, and the small road there. So it's in between the stream and the road, and it's a small triangular lot. It can't be more than, what, 20 feet wide, Bob?
with the lot?
Yes.
Probably 60 feet, 60, 70 feet at the most.
Okay.
Is the stream channelized there?
Yep, it's shown there, Pine Tree Brook, the flow, and shown on the as-built plan is the original existing fence and the approximate bottom of the slope granite channel, which was on the original plan. So that's all outside of the property line, but the the pavement that was there in the rear of the building, most of it was removed. There's an existing bituminous concrete parking area on the right-hand side along School Street, and a little bit more existing pavement from that parking lot to the right corner of the building, and then the rest of the pavement has been removed. And as I said earlier, the brick walkway that was proposed is closer to the building than what was shown on the approved plan. And aside from that, it's all according to Hoyle.
The single family home?
I'm not sure of the status of it. I think it may be a two-family, or I think Steve had his office there. So I'm not sure
Gotcha.
exactly what the status is. There is an apartment, and I think that, it might be the one apartment or maybe two apartments in lieu of his office on the bottom floor.
What's the mini split unit? I'm struggling with this one, Bob, because I didn't miss too many, and I see that I didn't sign this one in '99, which is odd.
It's like an AC unit.
It's actually a heat pump.
The mini split is a heat pump, Steve?
Yes, it is. That's correct.
I'm not sure they were around in 1998.
I don't think they were, frankly. I don't think we saw. Maybe they were over in. I think I saw some in Asia in the late '90s, but nothing here hardly. Asia was ahead of us with those.
All right. Well, I struggled, and is this on the corner?
Yes.
How close to the corner is it?
Close to the corner, yeah.
Very.
All right, because I know I've been there, but I'm just puzzled as to why my signature is not on it from.
It's got a little. The parking lot is a little bit upstream from it, John. Just in case you're wondering.
Does that mean, John, I was here before you?
No. I was there long before '99, but I'm just puzzled as to why my signature is not on there. Because I don't remember missing any. What a shock. So that's what I've been struggling with. But any questions or comments? I know some have been made as to there are some obvious deviations. I'm not sure how significant they are. But I just wanted to get everybody's comfort level because Bob has elicited the variations. They don't seem to be major to me.
Yep.
Yeah. Anybody else have any views or concerns or questions?
Bob, did you look at the FEMA map for this site?
I did not.
It is right on the brook, but the brook is at the bottom of the trench, right?
Yep.
Yes.
I'd just like to say that once again is a very handsome, well done plan by Bob Hannigan.
A handsome plan.
Thank you, Tom.
They're always good.
Thank you.
I like that. All right. So if there are no concerns, then we should move forward with a motion to issue the certificate of compliance. Is there a motion to do so?
So move, Mr. Chairman, to issue the certificate of compliance.
Thank you, Arthur. Is there any second to that?
I'll second.
All right, thanks, Hans. Any discussion among commission members? Hearing none, we'll take a voice vote. Tom Palmer, how do you vote?
Yes.
Arthur Doyle?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Hans?
Yes.
Ingrid?
Yes.
And Charlie?
Yes.
And I, John Kiernan, vote yes as well. So you're good to go, Bob. Thank you very much for that, especially for that very handsome plan.
Thank you, John and Tom and other commissioners. Appreciate it. Always good to see you.
Good to see you, Bob.
Good.
Thanks all. So number 9 is 1672 to 1726 Canton Avenue. This is a certificate of compliance as well. And who is making the presentation for this one? Deb, you got it.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
You're on. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Deb Keller with Merrill Engineers and Land Surveyors. So as noted, before you, we've respectfully submit a request for a certificate of compliance for the Walcott Woods residential development located at 1672, 1726 Canton Ave. So back in 2020, we permitted this project. I believe we had 2 minor modifications to the original order throughout the construction, making some minor reconfiguration of some of the buildings, no increase in unit count. We have now, happy to say, have completed the project. All houses are constructed, roadway in, drainage infill, all drainage facilities are installed. We also had, with regard to wetland resources, we had a Phragmites removal area that was completed behind one of the buildings, building number 65. The 2 brook crossings are installed, associated with the roadway circulation throughout the site. I did note just a few minor deviations from the plan. One of them was, if I could share my plan, it might be helpful if I kind of,
That'd be great,
that would
Deb.
be okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm staring at the plan and you're not, I don't know if you see it. Let's see. So hopefully, great. Can see that this is the first page of our as-built plan. Canton Ave is on the bottom plan. Coming into the site, you have the main roadway through the center here, Walcott Woods Lane. At the entrance, we have an infiltration basin to the right, a small subsurface chamber system to the left. There was a gravel walking path that runs along somewhat parallel to Canton Ave, meandering through the wooded buffer. To the left of the main entrance, you can see the 2 large subsurface chamber systems that were designed and installed. The first cluster of houses includes one of the existing restored homes, and then 2 new single-family dwellings. As we move into the site, the first intersection here, I'm going to hop to the second page. Let's see. Oops. There we go. So this one's a little bit better. So, and then now we have the loop with all of the houses installed. This is the Walcott house, another house that was restored. 2 units are within the existing structure. And then the last existing structure is the manor house, which was located along this side driveway, or existing driveway. With regards to the buffer area, runs along the intermittent stream that flows through the site. We have the 2 roadway crossings, one on the north, excuse me, that's the south, and one on the north here. They're completely installed. This is the location, as mentioned, of the Phragmites removal. And so going back to some minor revisions or deviations that were made, there was supposed to be a grass swale running along this driveway here, directing up gradient runoff into the bioretention area. That was not installed, but the grading still allows for everything to pitch towards the bioretention area. If I hop back.
Does that deviation make a difference, Deb? I mean, in terms of runoff?
No change. So I double checked to make sure when I was out doing my site walk that the water, because I was concerned that the water wasn't being directed to where it was intended to. Still does. Everything is pitched. The driveway is pitched towards the bioretention area. So it's all the watersheds stay the same. Looks like I don't have the area on the as-built, but this existing driveway comes down to Canton Ave, and we had two. I think during the planning board process, they asked us to put in two dry well wicking drainage area pits. They were not installed because no work was done down in that area. And those also don't change any of the drainage analysis either. And then the last change or note that I had, it's not really a deviation per se. Get my screen to come back. There's some a little bit of erosion right here on the inner side slope of this infiltration basin, which should be repaired. And I would recommend not doing that until the spring, but it's just traditional standard maintenance that should be done on the basin. So I just noted that as part of the as-built plan. But from a conservation standpoint, this is the main plan showing the buffer areas to the stream. Limit of works were maintained. We had 2 rain gardens installed up just up gradient of the roadway here. And
Isn't there a barn, or wasn't there an old barn in there where that stream intersects the road? Right there, yes.
Here?
Yes,
Old
in that
barn.
area. Wasn't there a barn there?
There was an existing house approximately in this unit area that was demoed. The barn that was relocated came from the cluster up in this housing area, and it was relocated on the abutting property here. So that's why we have this tree line path opened up, because we had to create a path to move the barn down to the new location.
I remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a challenge because a lot of the roads weren't constructed yet. So trying to get a way of getting that barn down to that location was interesting.
Can you go back to your comment on the comment on the erosion that you saw?
Sure.
That should be repaired in the spring? Is there an O&M plan that goes with that part of the? It was a detention basin, wasn't it?
It's an infiltration basin. Yep. And there is an O&M plan that is associated with that identifies maintenance. It's just one tiny little area right here. It just needs to be filled in with some loam and seed and reestablish the vegetation in that one location. Unfortunately, this isn't the time to do that. That's why I was recommending making that minor repair in the spring.
And would the O&M plan bind the? See, I don't know what the organizational structure is. Once these units have been sold, is there a homeowners association that would be required to implement that O&M plan?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Steve, have you been there for a walkthrough recently?
I sure have, John. It looks very good, except for that little basin.
All right.
I've been very impressed. with how things turned out.
All right, it's a big project. Does anybody feel that a site walk is it would be informational for us? I mean, I'm comfortable with photographs and Deb's presentation and Steve's affirmation, but I want to know if others feel that a site walk would be appropriate.
Just a little fun fact, in the packet, we were lucky enough to have our drone up in the area and they took some aerial photos. So I incorporated them in the submission for you. So I'm hopefully you can see those up on the screen right now, just to give you a general gist of what the overall site looks like.
I was just looking at those and they were taken at peak color. They're really gorgeous. Like, I'm guessing October 5th.
Is there a date on there, Tom?
I'll check for you. I'll confirm when they were done.
The first one has Blue Hill on it.
Yes.
It also shows the open fields at the rear that you access by the dedicated parking, where you can go through to the Blue Hills.
It's a beautiful walk. I've taken it.
Mm. Are those parking spots open to the public?
Yes.
Yes.
The last photo shows a white SUV in one of the spots.
Wasn't there supposed to be some signage that indicated that they're open to the public?
Let's see.
I believe so, Wendy. I think you're right.
I believe so too. I remember that as well.
Because I went there a couple of months ago, and I didn't see any signage, and it was my recollection that it was open to the public, but I didn't feel very welcome. I was a little concerned.
I can circle back with the developer to make sure that we get some signage up there.
I think we should make that a condition.
I see Sean's hand is up. Maybe he knows a little bit more of the detail.
He may. Yep.
Sean, you're on mute.
We can't hear you, Sean.
Oh,
Still can't hear you.
Nothing yet, Sean. No luck.
Nope, nothing yet.
Deb, might you be able to call Sean by phone and relay his message?
I'm not sure I have his phone number. Let's see.
Now, anybody hear me now?
Oh, there he is.
Oh,
There he is.
yep.
I was somehow locked out of my system. Sorry. My name is Sean Scahill. I'm with Northland Residential, and I can speak to the
Can you
signage. So
turn up your volume? It could be me, but you're very hard to hear.
let me try it. Any better? Any better?
Yes, a little bit.
So just I can speak to the signage piece. DCR has been charged or has maintained ownership of getting that signage kiosk, which is we haven't seen a design, but they are dealing with that for themselves because they would like it to be consistent with what their signage looks like out at Blue Hill. So that's what I can offer you as far as information goes, as far as signage at that location, if that helps.
Didn't we just approve a signage plan for DCR?
We did.
Yeah. And they were located all through the Blue Hills. Weren't there 7 or 8 sites? But I don't remember this being one of their sites.
That I can't tell you, sir. All I know is that all I can offer you right now at the moment is that they are in process of putting that together. I haven't seen the design myself either, so.
Understood. Now, is that Wendy? I'm not sure what you were talking about, and I understood what you said, that you didn't have a feeling of being welcomed as a member of the public. But are you looking for a sign that says public parking? Or if you reflect back on the DCR signage that we permitted within the last year, that was different. That's, this is where you are. This is the pathway to get to a different section of the Blue Hills. It was that kind of signage. What are you talking about?
What I was hoping to see is just some indication at the parking lot that it was allowed for me as a member of the public to park there, so that I didn't feel like I was trespassing. Not necessarily, any, I mean, it would be wonderful to have signs about the trails, but really what I'm speaking to tonight is something saying that it's okay for people who are not residents to park there.
Yeah, an invitation, Wendy, I'd call it, right?
Yes, yes.
But Steve, I know the concept of what you just said, but what's the verbiage? Is it a sign that says public parking?
Parking for trail access, maybe?
Yeah, something on that order. Yes.
Public parking for trail access.
Right. Public, that's correct.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the order of conditions. I don't see anything specifically related to that, but I know we amended this a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
And it may well have been in the planning board decision. I'm not sure. I don't see it in ours.
I'm quite certain we talked about it at some point. Maybe it's in the minutes, which I know there's a lot of them.
Well, this sounds like it has an easy fix. Okay.
Mhm.
Which is if Sean and Deb, you disagree, sure, we'll put up a sign that says, public parking.
I can speak to that. There's a wood gate out at that trail location where the parking area is. You might have seen it, Wendy, if you were out there.
Yes.
I can certainly install something at that gate, that would say that, public parking for trail access, something like that, if that works.
That work for you, Wendy?
I think that would be great. Thank you.
Something, Sean, that says access to DCR Blue Hills or something, Blue Hills Reservation. Something on that order. For public.
It's important to get in now because as soon as the residents come, they will pull it out again. If they can.
Those residents.
They'll do it.
Oh, don't
You
worry,
know, John,
Tom. I'll be
do it.
checking it out because that's a very I spent a lot of time walking that trail from the project up until the Blue Hills.
Mhm.
So I've done that quite a bit.
It's a nice walk.
It is.
Yes, it
It's
is.
beautiful.
So if I may, is the agreed upon wording public parking for DCR trail access?
Yeah, we should be specific because we should write it as a condition for the order of compliance. So Arthur is correct. Let's not say something like this, something like that. If we can get the words down on paper, I think it would be beneficial for everybody. Arthur, could you read that again? Because it sounded good to me.
Public parking for DCR trail access.
That good,
Sounds
Sean?
good to me.
That works.
Yeah.
I can get
Yep.
something, I can get something professionally made up and get it installed in short order.
Actually, I don't want to sound like a cynic, but no guarantee how long DCR is going to be
I agree.
called DCR. So, and how about Blue Hills trail access?
Blue Hills Reservation.
There you go.
In lieu of DCR.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
I can do that. We can get that accomplished.
So it's public
All right,
parking
thanks,
for
Arthur.
Blue Hills Reservation Trail access.
Yep.
Correct?
Yes.
Great.
Yay, thank you.
That'll work. Now, again, I'm comfortable having all the people that, well, we've all spent a lot of time up there. I'm comfortable without a site walk, but does anybody think that we should have a site walk? It doesn't sound it, but I don't want you to say later on, hey, we should have taken a site walk. All right, so I'm good. Any other comments or questions of either Sean or Deb?
I have one.
I
for
did
Deb.
go back and I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
I have one for Deb. I'm just looking at page 1 of the plan, or sheet 1, and looking at the proposed subsurface infiltration chambers.
Yes.
And I guess I was there when they were putting those in. As you all know, they look like corrugated pipes. I think they were pale gray, and they're just lined up, and they have weep holes. I guess the water is directed into the half pipes, and then they infiltrate into the soil. And when I saw them, they struck me as this is the largest field I've ever seen of these pipes, and there's 2 such fields. My question for Deb is, have you ever put in so many pipes anywhere?
I have put in, actually on another Northland project, we put in a system on a 4-acre piece with one of these fields size. So in relative perspective, it is definitely a big system. Yes.
And it's designed to take all the road runoff from up the hill, right? Basically, right?
The majority of it, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
From catch basins in the roads.
That is correct.
And isn't it nice that it's not under a parking lot?
It's fabulous.
Yeah, that means nobody will ever have to dig up the parking lot to fix it. Well, that's all I had to say. Thank you.
All right, good. And I did check, and the order of conditions does have the O&M plan, and so that'll take care of any ongoing issues with erosion around the infiltration area. So I'm comfortable with that. Is any other comments or questions from anybody, actually, abutters, members of the public, as well as commissioners? And if not, hearing none, seeing no hands, is there a motion to issue a certificate of compliance with the conditions that we have just talked about with the public access to the Blue Hills Reservation trails?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, good. Thanks, Hans. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Charlie. Any discussion? Hearing none. Tom Palmer, how do you vote?
Yes.
Arthur?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Hans?
Yes.
Charlie?
Yes.
Ingrid? You're on mute, Ingrid. Now you're not. No, you just went back on mute again. There you are. Yeah.
Yes.
How do you vote? Yes. Okay, good.
Sorry about that.
Thanks, Ingrid. And I vote yes as well, John Kiernan. So yeah, you're good to go, Sean. Deb, thank you very much for your presentation. It's quite a project. It's quite a project.
It is. It's a pretty good one. It's a good one to be proud of, I think, all around.
Yeah. That's good. In a
Thank
beautiful
you.
area. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
And that is it, isn't it, for our agenda? Good. New business, Steve, anything?
Maybe some business that's been hanging around for a month. I would like to mention again that we haven't done any actual approach to the area that was cut at 71 Amor Road.
Yes.
Difficult to get into the property. So I haven't taken that step yet. I just wanted to let you know that. Okay.
Okay.
I need to get into and speak to somebody who owns the property. Because it's completely surrounded by a fence, except from the backside. So I'd have to go over somebody else's property to get there. I
All right.
did go
Is
to
that,
the
is that
next,
something you can do, or do you need some assistance on that, or what?
I have gone to the next door property and taken a few pictures, but you really can't see it very well. So we really need to perhaps invite the owner to the next meeting. I'm going to suggest and ask what they did and why, and explain to them that that's a wetland area and all the mature trees have been cut.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that extensive.
Wow.
Oh, it's incredibly extensive.
Oh,
Is there a, and I know I'm asking you to speculate because you haven't talked to them, but does there appear to be a purpose of that? I mean,
Not to my knowledge. I have not figured that out. I've been wondering about it for a month.
Okay. Did it create a view of anything, the Blue Hills or something?
No, not really. But the property is fenced and gated and locked off. So I guess I'm gonna see if I can get to somebody by phone. We
All
know
right.
who the
And will you just draft a letter, Philip, and just invite the owner to our next meeting to explain the apparent cutting within the wetlands?
Sure.
Yes.
All right, just, simple, direct, polite, just,
Yep.
you are hereby invited to attend, and we'd ask you to explain the apparent cutting within the wetlands.
Yeah.
All
Great.
right, that's good. That's
That's
good.
helpful, John.
How close is this to the 40B site?
It's about halfway up the street from that.
Okay. Thank you.
Halfway to, south. This is south of that, of
So
course.
it's between Brush Hill Road and Blue Hill Avenue.
If
Yes,
you were to enter
correct.
from Blue Hill Ave, it would be the fourth house on the left.
That's correct.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Now, and again, looking at additional business, I tried to reach out to the, I think he's the owner, but he might be the developer. I'm not sure. At 1387 Brush Hill Road, to invite him. Apparently, it's a situation where he's frustrated because he'd like to move forward. This is what I understand. He'd like to move forward with an order of conditions that we issued, I don't know, 3.5 years ago, at least. And we have recently received some guidance from DEP about circumstances where an order condition actually expires. And according to the DEP regs, the applicant is required to refile. I know it sounds like form over substance, but that's what the regs say, and that's what DEP is. That's their guidance to Conservation Commission. And by the way, I should take this opportunity to compliment Alicia Guyland. I think she's great as a source of education, the wetlands regulations. She's a great resource, and it was one of her weekly guidances that alerted us, me, Conservation Commissions generally, that you do need to refile if the extension, if the order of conditions has already expired. The trick is to ask for the extension before it expires.
Yes.
So in any event, I've reached out, or I've attempted to reach out to Mr. Sealer and see if we can facilitate this for him, because I understand he was concerned that he was being inhibited from building the project, which was approved some 3.5 years ago. So anyway, if you do know him, I called him a couple of times. I haven't heard back, but I will continue to reach out just to make sure he knows we're there and we're here to help him comply with the regs.
Steve, is that,
So that, what's that?
Steve, is that Bahay?
Say it again,
No,
Philip.
that,
Is that Bahay that me and Deanne that we've been communicating with?
I'm not sure if he's on that project or not, but I know Anton Sella myself,
Oh, all right.
and I will talk with him.
Bahay's coming in December. If that's the project, if that's the address.
Yeah, I don't remember
Yeah,
if it,
1387 is the address. Yeah, so he's
Right.
already, oh, good.
I believe he has. I'll double check, but I'm
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Because I reached out to him to try to, encourage him. And I said, to tell him that we'll put it on as soon as you can get us the forms.
Is that the one that Nick Milano was involved in too?
Yes, Philip, it is.
Okay, I think they're coming in December.
Okay, good.
They emailed us and I told them I needed 9 copies by November 26th
Okay.
to extend their order conditions.
Well, I don't know. Did you say it that way, to extend the order conditions? Because I believe once expired, you have to refile.
Well, not, I didn't say to extend the order of condition to, I needed 9 copies of what they want to present.
Yes, okay, good. Okay.
No, I'm sorry, I spoke out of turn.
Okay, good. Thanks. Yeah, I'm just trying to make it work so that, all the residents feel that they have, easy access to the system. Anything else on additional business? Because I have nothing in addition to that.
No, I don't have anything, John.
John, I have something real quick.
Yes.
So there's been a couple instances where the Consolidated Facilities, or DPW, has been doing maintenance, really close to wetlands or really close to streams. There's been a few instances where neighbors have brought it up to me, and I've actually seen it myself, where I think I've asked them if they've had any conversations with Steve or Phil prior to executing the work. And there's been a number of times where they've not. They just have gone in and started doing the work. Understanding that vista pruning is an activity that can be considered exempt, but there's been quite a few times where it's been a bit more than vista pruning. I think I brought one time to your attention where they're taking vegetation down to the ground, right up to the stream edge. And it's after the previous time I brought it to your attention, it's happened 2 more times after that, just in my area. So it wouldn't surprise me that it's the response from them when I've spoken to them, and it's been very cordial, has been, well, we just get a work order. And so I'm wondering, and I'm wondering if this is a question for Phil or Steve, or how can we better help them to try to be compliant as they execute the work. I think it's something as simple as having a conversation with Steve before they start taking a backhoe in there and a brush hog and chainsaws. But that seems
No,
to be...
I agree. It's a good point, and it's a good point at a good time. The reason is a couple of things have come up recently in terms of better coordination with DPW and with the building department. In fact, Steve and I were talking this week, and I promised to go to Nick Milano because there may be a cost associated with this, but there's a permit program or application called Permit Eyes, and that's just the name of it, but it's accessible to the public, and anybody can see what permit's been applied for from the building perspective. And there are different components, different modules that you can add to this Permit Eyes application. And one of them that's missing is the overlay What is it, the state
It's a
GIS?
conservation module, John.
Right, but
Conservation
what's
module.
included, what's included in that? Soils, wetland?
I'm not sure because I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. But what we're doing is we're trying to sort of facilitate a better coordination with the building department. And so at the same time, and that's Michael White. And he when he first was appointed, he was great. I mean, he reached out to everybody, and he spent I don't know, an hour or two with me. I know he talked to a bunch of people on the select board. How do we better coordinate so the different agencies, one knows what the other one's doing, and that would include Parks Department and to some extent the school department, the facilities. So this is an appropriate time because I think we, different departments need to go back to Nick and say, listen, we're going to need a few more dollars to buy the conservation module that would trigger that for any project. And then, of course, to coordinate the whole thing would be with Marina. But she seems to be accessible and open-minded and stuff. So I think now is the time to follow through on what you just said, to have a sit down, and maybe we could invite, Marina and Mike White to a Conservation Commission meeting. I don't mean to inconvenience them. I mean, we'll do it any way they want, but just so that we can discuss our concerns and they can raise their concerns.
Yeah,
but
I mean, these
Mike's
instances are easy. But yeah, what you're saying makes sense. I mean, this is a very simple, coordination piece on before you go out and do the work. But yeah, I mean, that seems, that would be, hopefully what you're talking about would address the situation as a whole.
Right. And we'd have to include Alan Bishop in that because, he's sort of the keeper of the GIS maps and everything on the computer. He seems to be able to.
So there's some certain toes we have to be very careful of.
Toes?
Toes that we have to be very careful of, I think.
Avoid stepping on.
Yes, exactly.
No, I'm right, but the whole idea is to avoid stepping on toes. And as long as we communicate, one with the other, it makes perfect sense to have a
And
system
I'd be
of
happy to participate, John. I'm looking forward to participating. Okay.
Sure. All right. Well,
can I ask Hans where exactly the work you saw was?
So it's the path along Pine Tree Brook. So there's one of the areas, it was cleaning up some Japanese knotweed, but it was it was not the right time to be doing that, and brush cutting it down to the ground can actually exacerbate the issue. And then on the other side of the parkway, there was some similar cleanup work that was done at the other bridge that we've been trying to get worked on for a very long time. And both those areas, the vegetation was taken to the ground, completely to the ground. And that's outside of the vista pruning exemption, in my opinion. And then there was another instance where they were taking, where I asked them to stop and reassess and have a conversation with Steve, where they were on the other side of the brook in the improvised path that's out there. They were in there with a backhoe and chainsaws and cutting things down. And I said, I understand what you're doing, but I think it'd be better if you maybe reassessed how you're doing this. But
which improvised path are you talking about?
So it's on the other, it's in the section that goes basically parallel to the path that goes from the parkway towards the high school. So there's the developed path that's unpaved, and then on the other side of the stream on Pine Tree Brook, there's kind of an improvised path that
it's a footpath. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's surprising they would be on that side at all. I would just
heavy equipment.
Imagine that they think of it as a maintenance.
I don't.
Right. Yeah. That's
They thought of it as this is a work order we received and we're doing the work. So I don't think it was really, I don't think there was much beyond that.
yeah, I gotcha.
Okay. Thanks, Hans.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to talk to Nick anyway, because it's funding, apropos of trying to get that conservation module added to the permit eyes. And at the same time, I'll reach out to Marina and, express some of your concerns, Hans. And then I think some way, whether as a committee, as a whole, subject to the open meeting law, and or from some subcommittees like, you, Hans, or anybody that wants to, meeting with Marina or whomever she
I'd be
designates.
happy to.
Yeah. That's good. All right. So that's on me with a plan. And I've got to talk to Marina anyway, because and Wendy, for your benefit, Tom Callahan emailed me and said, I need an update on the pedestrian bridge. And I dropped the ball over the summer because we had made a lot of progress, I thought, on doing this. We've got the surveys are done, the soil sampling is done, so the compaction studies. We've got the narrowest, crossing for the Pine Tree Brook, which translates into a shorter span, which is lighter, which translates into we only need, according to Northeastern University Engineering Department, we only need 4 helical piles instead of 8 because the bridge is lighter and shorter. All good news. So the only thing left at this stage is the design work for the fabrication. And once the design work is completed, then we can send it out for bid. But the holdup has been my inability to get Marina and Dan Dulowski together at the same time, and then it's been tough with all his different schedules. But I would hope in the next 2 weeks we'd be able to have a sit down to dot the i's and cross the t's on the final spec for the bridge, and so then the next step is the bid process. And the reason Marina should be involved is because we're going to need some of the town's equipment and certainly cooperation, getting the equipment across where Peverly Playground is going to be. And we might want to time that appropriately so we get the heavy equipment in first. And that's the coordination stage. So we're at the final coordination stage for that. And I will assure Tom that I'm not ignoring him. I'm just frustrated trying to get this meeting together. But within the next 2 weeks, it'll get done.
Thank you, John. That's very helpful. I tried my best to recall where we were on that, and I think I woefully misrepresented.
Oh.
So thank you.
We're close. We're close.
Okay. But you said that Marina and you're trying to set up a meeting with Marina and Dan and
Dan Dulowski is the professor at Northeastern University. Yes.
Okay.
And he's the one that did the first design for a much longer span. It was like 60 feet.
Right.
And we did get sort of some preliminary bids on the 60-foot one. And it was much cheaper than I thought. It was $65,000. Now that's probably 4.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the costs have skyrocketed since then. But that's not the big cost anyway. We've got to get it here because if it's fabricated in Florida, we've got to transport it from Florida to here. And the bid we got was a Florida company. We've got some other bids, prospective fabricators closer to home, and that will adjust the transport costs. And then we have to have the heavy equipment to bring it in and drop it into place. And some of Joe Madugno had a contact at, I think it's called Braintree Helical Piles.
Yes.
I think that's the name of the company. We were hoping to get, a welcoming bid from them, just because of their proximity to the town and goodwill and all that stuff. So we're trying to do this all at the same time, but this is almost the last phase. So 2 weeks, I should have that done between Professor Dulowski, and he's now changed his student lead because the guy that was there when Chase Berkeley and Professor Dulowski and I met at the pond, he had a student lead there who's now graduated. So the good professor said, I've got another one for you. But that's important because he does want to involve the students. I mean, it's a real opportunity for them to do a real project. And of interest, Chase Berkeley recalled working on the other bridge at the other end of the pond when he was at Northeastern back in 2004.
Oh my gosh.
So
no kidding.
slow progress, but progress. All right, so that's it for new business for me. Anything else, or should we adjourn? Sounds like a motion to adjourn to me. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, perfect. Thanks all.
Good night.
Yep.
Good night.
Good night, all.